Hello, everyone. And Tushar, thank you very much for the kind intro. My name is Surabhi Sharma, as Tushar told you, and I'm pleased to join you today at this super informative forum, Decode with Google. And unlike Tushar, I don't have beautiful flowers in my background. I'm sitting in my son's room, and you can see some Avengers stickers on the wall this side. Quick intro. I'm the site program manager for Google Hyderabad, and this is my third year at Google. Before joining Google in 2019, I worked with several Fortune 500 companies in India, primarily honing business skills like employee communications, strategy creation, social impact work, and diversity and inclusion charters. In my role at Google, what I enjoy the most is that I get to play a part in building a great Googler experience at our offices by creating impactful programs that are not just good for Googlers, but they are good for Google and good for India as well. And I'm here right now to moderate this panel with three leaders on how we are building a more representative and inclusive Google. I'm pleased to invite our panelists, Shanti Sundar, Abhi Nair, and Rohit A. Hello, Shanti, Abhi, and Rohit. Could you please tell us about yourself and what you do at Google?
Yeah, thank you, Surabhi, for inviting us. I'm super excited to be here today after listening to all the speakers speaking earlier, and this is my first Decode with Google as well. So it's fascinating. To introduce myself, I'm Shanti Sundar. I head HR for Google Cloud in India. Been here for 10 months now, so pretty much learning Google and soaking in all the goodness. I've been with in the industry, in HR, in tech industries for over 2 decades now. And my role here is to bring together the people strategy for the cloud organization in India.
Great. Abhi, could we have your intro next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Abhi Nair, and I've been at Google for over 2 years now. I lead the tech recruiting team in India and the volume tech hiring team across APAC. My job is pretty simple. It is to hire the best tech talent for Google.
Super. And Rohit.
Hi everyone, I'm Rohit, an old-time Googler. I joined the Bangalore office 16 years ago. I'm an engineering director and currently in the Google Ads team.
We have quite an interesting diversity of tenure at Google in this panel, and this is going to make our discussion really enriching. Now, our first question. At Google, we are all known to be very focused on hiring the right candidate and investing a lot of time in the process. How does this shape Google's hiring philosophy? Abhi, would you like to take this?
Sure, Surabhi. Hiring is one of the most important things we do. Our hiring processes and decisions need to be structured, consistent, and predictive of performance. We need to select candidates with the right knowledge, skills, and abilities for the job. The interesting thing is that our teams focus on each candidate instead of each application, which helps us identify the best match for the role, even if it isn't the one that the candidate has applied for. We believe our hires can come from anywhere, industry or campus. In fact, we have many student outreach and career readiness programs. This year itself, over 18,000 students have participated in the Google Online Challenge, which is a platform for students across schools to be assessed for our tech roles. We constantly engage with talent from the industry via YouTube Lives, Tech Talks, and dinner circle events. We have a lot of aspirations here in this market and firmly believe we need to break all glass walls to truly hire exceptional talent here. We will thus continue investing in programs to attract talent from across India.
That is so good to hear, Abhi, and that number of the GOC program, that's huge and amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And you spoke about equity in hiring, alluded to it. So I'm going to ask the next question regarding the same. So Google India has been growing at a rapid pace. This is also what we have heard in the previous panels today. So how do we ensure that we are bringing people from diverse backgrounds and experiences into Google? And how do we create an even more inclusive Google? Shanti, would you like to take this question?
Absolutely delighted to, Surabhi, because this is something very close to our hearts, just like Abhi, given that, you alluded to it, that POPs, the people operations team, the HR team focuses so much on creating processes that ensure this. I mean, we do this not because we have to do it. We truly believe that this defines our culture and helps us build great products, right? So once we have people in, we believe that they'll bring their whole selves to work. Now, I'll touch upon three broad things that will be important. One is, where do we hire from? The second thing is, how do we hire? And the third thing is, once we have hired them, how do we ensure we grow and retain them, right? All these three pillars are important. And I think the first one is, where do we hire from? And Abhi talked about it a lot. And I want to touch upon other things. I mean, contrary to belief that we only hire from tier 1 colleges, it's not true. I mean, we believe that we have to look at each applicant individually and hire them for their merit. I'm not sure how many of you know, we support more than 430 organizations globally to grow tech, Googlers, not just for Google, but for the world. The second thing is, we have programs called Women Engineers, Next Innings, DigiPivot, which focus on getting people from tier 1 and apart from tier 1 and tier 2 colleges, and also women who have taken break in their careers and bring them back into the work stream. The second thing I have to speak about is, how do we hire? It is important that we keep our process very focused and very fair. And therefore, there are two pillars. One is, we keep it very structured. And therefore, we have a very defined rubrics. So candidates, every applicant who comes in is defined and hired, assessed against the same rubrics. So it's fair to everybody. And I think Abhi also talked about, we look at candidates for roles that they may fit in anywhere in Google, because we have thousands of roles in Google at any point in time. The second thing is, we have open-ended questions, so that we are able to assess the thought process of people who are interviewing with us, and not just focusing on, whether they're answering the right way that we would expect them. We really want the individuality of them coming through. The third thing is, once we have hired them, how do we ensure they contribute to the best ability? We have a lot of programs that ensure that, like your Women at Google, Pride at Google, so that everybody can be themselves once they come in. We also have culture clubs. Surabhi knows it best, and she is, part of the team that creates Googler experiences. These are run by Googlers, so they ensure that everybody can participate in things that they are happy to participate in. And of course, for our underrepresented women or underrepresented groups, we have sponsorship programs that helps them grow here. And I want to take back to what I started with, that we don't believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion is not only good for our culture, but it's important for how we build our products. So I'm sure, Rohit being at the center of all of this can add a little color to that.
Thanks a lot, Shanti. So let me tell about Google's mission once more. So Google's mission is to build products for everyone, and that can be done by having a diverse team. Having so many distributed teams is one indicator of that. I want to give two examples of how diversity in the team helped build better products. The first example, I was part of the Google News team. Just like the Times of India has a Delhi edition, Bombay edition, Bangalore edition, and so on, Google News has editions at a country level. Back in 2007, there were around 10 editions, predominantly in English, except French, German, and Spanish editions. Again, these are Latin languages. The tech lead of the team in Bangalore was passionate about creating editions in Indic languages, like Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and so on. There were many technical challenges, right from extraction of content, the quality of signals that were used in their algorithms, then the underlying infrastructure. There were many such challenges. The problems we solved to launch these Indic editions actually helped us launch many more editions in various countries and languages. Currently, there are 85 plus editions of Google News in 35 plus languages. Google News is also used in search for queries which are news seeking. So what we did in this effort had an impact on Google search too. The second example, this one in Google Docs. I was leading the Google Docs team in Bangalore. For most Indians, English is not the first language. An engineer in the team strongly felt that we should be building a grammar correction tool in Google Docs. We went on to build a machine learning based grammar correction system. The blue underline you see in Google Docs is what we have sort of built. We then extended it to many other languages too: Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, Japanese, and so on. The solutions we built is being used by other systems in Google too. Gmail, that's where you will see the blue underline too. Google Ads, Google Maps, and so on. This is yet another example of diversity in the team helping making the core product better, and again, having an outsized impact by improving other important products in Google. Hope these two examples sort of resonate why diversity makes a difference.
Super, Rohit. Two things, right? One is whoever came up with the idea of let's have grammar corrections on docs was an amazing one because it's really helpful. And the second one is I really love the way, Rohit, how you connected your job with the mission and values and core at Google. That is what is a big part of our culture, where we want that each and every Googler should see how their job or their everyday role, it relates to the vision and mission of the entire company. All right, so the next question, even this question is what even I had before I joined Google in 2019. We have today talked about a lot of opportunities that are coming up in India with various teams, and our leaders who have joined the panels before this panel have talked about that. So of course, now we all know, our audiences as well, that there are a lot of opportunities in India. What I wanted to know, and I'm sure even our audience wants to know, is are all those opportunities for SWEs, software engineers, and coding, are most of them only for these two profiles, or are there more as well?
So I can take that one, Surabhi. See, Google is focused on creating awesome experiences, and we have both consumer and enterprise products that reach millions and billions of users. All of our teams across technical and non-technical organizations work very hard to make this happen. So each and every role is vital to our success. Technical roles span beyond coding and software engineering. Some examples of other roles are researchers, application engineering, user research and experience, program managers, solution consultants, product managers. I could just go on, but there are a lot of other roles besides core coding and software engineering jobs that are open with different product areas at Google India. Due to the sheer availability of talent in India in terms of both number and quality, more and more product areas are investing towards the growth of Google in India. With the setup of our product areas like cloud, ads, corporate engineering, a lot of new roles and areas of work have opened up that did not exist here before. So all these are posted on Jobs at Google, and I would encourage you all to visit the site and explore the open positions.
Thank you, Abhi. That gives us a very good insight into what are other roles at Google. I do have a follow-up question though. And Rohit, it would be great if you could take this up. What kind of skill sets do we look for in the roles during the hiring processes then?
Though I'm an engineer, I'll try to explain how candidates are assessed no matter which role they are being interviewed for. There are three things we look for. The first one, knowledge and experience related to the role. Second one, ability to work in a fast-paced, diverse, and ambiguous environment. Finally, the ability to get things done with minimal handholding. Let me talk a little bit more about the knowledge and experience part. I am going to explain this with respect to entry-level candidates, candidates with few years of experience, and senior candidates. At the entry level, we expect the candidates to be strong with respect to the basics or the fundamentals. For example, if you're interviewing for a software engineer role, it would be your knowledge in data structures and algorithms, ability to translate ideas to code. Now let's look at the next level. Here, we expect the candidates to be strong in execution and be able to work more or less independently. What does it translate to the interviews? First one, how well do you understand the question? Second one, the various scenarios you consider. Third one, how elegant is the solution? And finally, how much handholding is needed? Finally, at the senior level. At the senior level, we'll look at the ability to own things end to end. Things might be ambiguous and open-ended. We expect that in the interviews, you can scope out a vaguely defined problem and be able to do a pro and con analysis of various approaches. I hope this gives you a pretty good idea about what to expect in the Google interviews. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rohit. I would now want all of us to time travel. Try, even if you think, what is she speaking? Has she lost her script? All right, so let's go back to the time when we were preparing for our Google interviews, or when we were sitting for the Google interviews, few of the rounds. And if all of us could share with the audience, what is that one thing, one piece of advice that we would have given ourselves that time, now that we are smarter and we have a lot of experience at Google, fair amount of experience. So what is that one piece of advice? And we can start with any of you.
I can take that, Surabhi, because although time travel, I don't have to travel the longest. Yeah, having joined just 10 months back, I think it was one piece of advice I'll give is interviews are unnerving. I wouldn't say I was not scared, right? Somebody reached out to me and they said, would you like to interview? I said, of course, why wouldn't I not interview, right? But what I learned through the process is that just be yourself. Because I firmly believe everybody else is taken. So just be yourself, have fun. There's not going to be any brain teasers. You will have fun just like I had. So just be yourself and enjoy the process.
I can go next. So adding on to what Shanti said. So see, our interviewing process is pretty exhaustive and it can be tiring as you go through different rounds of interviews. My advice would be yourself, be honest, be factual, and be humble. Problem solving is in our DNA, and having a problem solving bent of mind will certainly help. So prepare well and good luck.
Yeah, so for me, it's been quite a while since I took the Google interviews, which was 16 years ago. But yes, I have been doing a lot of interviews. And my advice would be to sort of, again, look at what Google does look for. It's the fundamentals. So the main thing is how well you understand the problem and the thought process that goes into solving the problem. If you focus on these two aspects in the interview, it will help significantly. Good luck.
Thank you very much. And yes, 17 years is a long going back in time travel. As you all were sharing your answers, I went back to April 2019 when I was sitting for my rounds, and I saw myself nervous, extremely stressed. I'm sure it was very visible on my face. So I want to tell myself, if I can go back, just chill, relax, smile, and it's all right if your answers are not perfect. It's absolutely okay. Whatever will happen for the best. So just chill and relax.